Hi everyone, I'm Den Haring. My channel is Fish Den 365, and on this episode I'm going to show you a recent trip we took to Lake Wallenpaupack fishing for stripers at night. It was a difficult night. The stripers were biting, but they were so keyed into the alewife bite I didn't have many opportunities to catch them. I did catch one striper, and you'll be seeing that shortly. Well folks, it's time. We're out here on Lake Wallenpaupack and it's striper time. We're going to put some lures on here, or at least put some out on the deck that we may think that we'll want. It's cloudy right now, although it looks like it's clearing up. I got some red fins here. I need a place to put these lures where they're not going to hook me later on, and yet still be available. I'm probably going to want to change some baits until I figure out what's going down out here. So here's a couple that are typical that I would use. There's another one. It's all about the size of the bait. That's usually what determines what to throw. See the size of the alewife here, folks. I just snagged one with my lure. That's a small alewife. You. Little stripe. So I'd like to go through some of the lures that I like to fish for stripers. I never ever fish without one of these. This is a Cordell redfin. Now for our trip on Lake Wallenpaupack, the bait was quite a bit smaller than this, and so I went to a different Cordell lure, a Rippling redfin, smaller profile. It matched the size of the bait fish. As you saw in the video, the bait fish were quite small. This is another really good lure. This is called a blue striper. It's another Cordell lure. Don't think it's in production anymore, but you can get it on eBay, and it has a very unique action that the stripers like. Lures with spinners like this usually work quite well too. Personally, I don't have a whole lot of success with these. My confidence level is not the highest with these, but I have some friends that swear by these lures. What you do with these is you cast them out, you let it settle a little bit, and then you just rip it along the surface, and that ripping sound is supposed to imitate the sound that the alewives are making when they're spawning. And then lastly, I got the one that actually caught the fish this time around. This is a, well, you guys should know what it is by now if you're watching any of my videos. This is a Norman Top Dollar, and I'll be giving one of these away. If you're interested in the potential to get one of these, look at my last video, which was entitled Subscriber Giveaway, and you can get onto that video, and there's instructions there. What you have to do is watch that video and then comment on that video, and then you could be put in the pool to win one of these lures. So what happens with these stripers is they get into this alewife spawn, and it's a very specific bite. And what happens is the alewives, they do this spawning ritual on the surface, and when they're doing that, the stripers will key in on it, and it makes they make like a circle on the surface. And so for me this year, I was a little late to the table in that I came to the lake and it was the middle of June, and this alewife spawn had been going on already. And so if I would have gotten there earlier before the spawn begins, but the alewives are starting to push shallow, the stripers are actually more vulnerable to all these lures then, because they're not so keyed into that spawning ritual. That also is true for when you first get out on the water at this time of year. So let's say they start moving in at 11 o'clock. You want to be there right at that time when they're first moving in, because it doesn't take long for them to just start keying in on these circling bait fish, these circling alewives. And once they do, it's almost like trout fishing. It's very difficult to catch them. You have to match the hatch. That's where this lure came in. I caught a hybrid striper, not a big one, but at least I got something, and it was because of this lure. This really is about the same size as the alewives. The shape is very similar, and I can make it turn and circle like those alewives. Even saying that, I had several blow up behind the lure. It wasn't quite right. They wanted it, but not quite, and they'd blow up behind it without taking the lure. But I did catch that one, and I'm beginning to find ways to modify my retrieve to imitate that circling of the alewives. One thing that I learned recently was, instead of just popping the lure, just reeling the handle makes this thing turn a little funny and turn on its side, kind of the way the alewives do. So I'm looking forward to trying that method the next time I'm out trying to catch the stripers. So this redfin is much better when the alewives are a little bit larger. I noticed on Blue Marsh and Nakamixon, they're much closer to this size, and I do well with this bait there. Sometimes the Paupack alewives are this big. This year they weren't, and so this redfin I think was a little too big to get the stripers to go. But they actually do have smaller red fins, the same exact lure as this, just a smaller size. I don't have any, but if I did, that's what I would have been throwing early on, because that thing is a great imitation of an injured alewife, and the stripers love this red fin. This is a known striper killer. So if you have it, throw it, because it will work, especially at night when that alewife spawn is just beginning or just starting to come on. Well, we're in the middle of June now. I hope to be able to get out at night one more time, at least for stripers. I don't know if that's going to happen though, just to have a very busy schedule coming up. But if I do, I'll take you out there with me and show you what I'm doing and how I did and what the results were. Well, if you enjoyed that video and got some good information from it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, comment, share with your friends. I appreciate you watching. This is Fish Den 365. We're certified Bassified. May God bless your fishing endeavors.